Hey everyone. So I'm finally getting off my big fat lazy ass and filming videos for you guys. You can thank the coronavirus because I am immunocompromised, so I am basically under self-quarantine at the moment. And you do not want to know how much stuff I've gotten done already today alone. Kindly ignore my slovenly appearance. I am actually working on dyeing fabrics and using really toxic chemicals right now. So I am wearing like a PJ shirt that's 7 sizes too big. I mean, I think I could fit a whole extra me in it, like, but I don't want to ruin my good clothes. So, and that's kind of gets down to the type of video I want to do for you guys. I really wanted to do stuff with crafting, but I also wanted to be able to tell stories. And so I finally decided I'm going to do videos where I am crafting and telling stories. And I will include pictures of my crafts and stuff. If the craft is already done, you'll get to see a finished picture here. If not, I'll post finished pictures on my Instagram. The link will be below. So my goal is to tell you guys goofy stories while I work on goofy crafts. I'll show some pictures and stuff. And if there's anything that I ever do that people want tutorials on, let me know. And I can always do some just straight up crafting tutorial videos. Those are a little harder for me. I really don't have a good camera setup. Like literally right now, my phone is propped on a cardboard box on my couch. So tutorials can be a little bit trickier to film. So they probably won't be as often, at least not right now, especially not in quarantine. But today's project I'm working on, I'm actually doing some upcycled stuff to make cat sweaters. Because Mr. Wrinkles, like many hairless Sphynx cats, gets cold. So I made him a sweater, and his sweater's currently off because it is getting repaired. He and my cat Tesla like to chase each other around the house, and he somehow managed to rip it at some point. So it is being washed and repaired at the moment. And as retaliation, he is hoarding blankets. So, but we're working on some fun ones right now that will go up on my Etsy shop. Also link below. And I really wanted to work with some reclaimed materials this time around. So these are actually, this is the butt of a pair of pants. That's part of why I like the cloth is this like wonderful different colors to it and stuff because it's been washed so many times. It looks really neat. I really like the look of it. And I'm excited to turn it into, you know, a nice piece here. So this is going to get, I've been doing my iron-on backing on both of them because I will be strengthening both of the pieces of cloth I'm working with right now with just some plain white muslin and then doing some embroidery on them, and then they'll get lined and fasteners and stuff put on, and they'll be adorable cat coats. And here actually is a picture of Wrinkles and his beautiful cat coat. And he was a little annoyed at first, but he quickly learned, ooh, this is warm and fuzzy, I like. So we're kind of gonna, you know, keep on with that trend. The other piece of cloth I'm using right now, like I said, those were old pants. This was actually a cheap t-shirt handed out during parades, but it is a beautiful blue. I love this color blue, and I'm going to do some cross stitch on it later tonight. But so while I work on all of this, I was going to tell you guys some fun stories at the same time. So tonight we're going to be talking about nuns catching shit on fire. That's not an exaggeration or a joke. It's what we're talking about right now. Nuns catching shit on fire. Yeah, I went to Catholic school, and the first Catholic school I went to actually had no nuns, weirdly enough. The second one, however, did. And the two that I probably interacted with the most were the science teachers, which makes sense. I was always really big into like STEM type fields. So, but they were plainclothes nuns, no habits or anything. But they still kind of had that aura about them where you look at them and you go, you're a plainclothes nun, aren't you? There's just something, I swear, if you raised around nuns like that, like you could spot them. It's a thing. And so, yeah, so she was a science teacher, and she was actually the biology teacher, and she had taught chemistry in the past. She was a very brilliant woman. And, yeah, so Sister Nancy like right as I had transferred schools, she was apparently fighting. Now both schools, my first high school and my second high school, are both very small schools. And my, sorry, I keep tilting this to make it stay hot. If I leave it down too long, it has a safety feature and it stops heating. But so, yeah, so Sister Nancy had begged administration. She was like, oh, come on. I really think we have students who need this. We need to reintroduce some more AP sciences. At the time, the only one they offered was AP biology every other year. And the principal finally said, fine, you can hold AP chemistry every other year again. It had been 10 years since the school had offered AP chemistry. So Sister Nancy did all of her groundwork. She was going to make it happen. She was going to make it work, you know? And I had really enjoyed chemistry classes. So I was like, I'm in. I'll do it. Let's take AP Chem. Let's go for it. I was good at chemistry, you know? And I'll be honest, in the end, I didn't pass the AP exam. Only like 2 of the 10 did. But we all knew that it was her first time teaching it again in 10 years. And in AP classes, a lot can change in the testing and stuff in 10 years. But so one of the things that happens also in 10 years is some chemicals become a little less stable. Some become a little less reactive. Properties change. It's an interesting thing when things have 10 years to oxidize or, you know, change electrons out and all sorts of fun. So she didn't quite refresh as many of the chemicals as she should have, as we later found out. So in the middle of the demo one day, she's like, okay, so we're gonna mix these 2 chemicals together. There's dry powders, and here they are. They're sitting up on this nice metal thing. It's over a slate tabletop, and you know, there's no wood anywhere nearby. Nothing's gonna burn, right? She's like, we're gonna mix these 2 things, and they're gonna poof, and you're gonna get this neat little like mini fireball, and it stops. And she mixes them, and nothing. The minutes tick by. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Sister Nancy's looking slowly but surely more humiliated as the seconds go by. And you can see this look on her face of, I give up. And she finally walks over and she for some reason decides to dump this powder mix down the drain in the lap sink. And it wasn't going to go down. And these were not like dissolvable chemicals. I cannot even remember what the minerals were at this point, you guys. This has been half a lifetime ago. I'm old. I took this class when I was young. Get over it. But so she tried rinsing them down the drain. That didn't work. So after a few minutes of this, she once again gives up and grabs a bunch of paper towels and wipes out the sink and dumps it all in the garbage can. So if you're paying attention, we now have a bunch of flammable stuff mixed together in a flammable container. And yes, it's wet, but chemical fires don't really care much about the presence of water. So Sister Nancy's like, this never happened. Let's continue on with this lesson. You see this wonderful thing on the board? Let's talk about this now. And we're all just chuckling, but we're like, yeah, okay, sister. What's next? You know. And all of a sudden, this little curl of smoke coming up from the garbage can. Just a little curl, and then a little more, and then it gets a little thicker, and then it goes from white smoke to black smoke. And we're all like, sister? She had her back to us at this point. She was writing something on the board, and we all just keep going, sister, 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 sister. She finally turns around, she's like, what is so wrong? And she spots the smoke, and she's like, oh, shit. I honestly think it was the first time I'd ever heard a nun cuss. So, you know, out comes the fire extinguisher, because it's a chemical fire, once again, doesn't care about water. And she was able to quickly put it out, and everything was fine. You know, nothing really went wrong. It was such a small private school. The principal got a chuckle out of it. It never went anywhere. She learned her lesson. She, you know, got permission and the funds to change out more of the chemicals and stuff to make sure it never happened again. So, all was good, you know. But that night, I'm telling my parents about the story, because who doesn't go home and tell their parents over dinner about the teacher catching the garbage can on fire in the middle of class? I mean, like, who wouldn't do that? Who would not tell their parents? Especially when the teacher has a reputation for being so brilliantly intelligent you kind of relish those people's mistakes that I owe them more, just because it's like, oh look, they are human. And so I'm telling my parents, and my mom's cracking up laughing. My mom actually was a teacher at the same school, so she's chuckling because she knows Sister Nancy very well. And she kind of gets this look on her face, and she starts laughing even harder. And I'm like, what are you laughing about? Like, I know this is funny, but you're laughing a little disproportionately there, Mother. And my mom's like, no, I'm sorry. This just reminded me of the time your aunt set her lab coat on fire. And I'm like, wait, what? My aunt was literally this. I thought Sister Nancy was smart. She had nothing on my aunt. My aunt was the singularly most brilliant woman I ever met in my life. I don't know if I'll ever meet anybody smarter than my aunt was. She had been a hospital administrator for her order, and she belonged to a very strict old school order. She wore a habit, the veil, like you picture a nun in the old Greek clothes. Yeah, pictured my aunt. Very, very strict order. And so she had been changed careers by Mother Superior, and she went to become a teacher. And when they brought her into this little school, the guy was like, oh good, we've got like an AP calculus teacher. And she goes, oh, I'm not just here to teach AP calculus. And I was like, wait, what? And she goes, oh yeah, I also teach AP biology, AP chemistry, AP calculus 2, and AP physics. The girl was like, you have all, she goes, I have all the degrees and certifications, thank you, sir. So, I mean, that was just Aunt Janie, or Sister Raphaela, as they knew her. But so one day, my mom gets this call from her, and my mom had already been teaching for several years at this point. My mom had become a teacher after the death of my little brother. So she'd been teaching for like 5 or 6 years at this point, and when her sister calls her, and she's like, oh my God, Jane, I have to tell you what happened today at school. And she never called, once again, strict order of nuns. We were lucky if we got letters from her a couple times a year. She was only allowed to come visit once every 3 years for 2 weeks. But, so my mom's like, wow, something's really big if you're calling me. What happened? She's like, I set myself on fire. My mom's like, wait, what? You just say that louder. And Aunt Jenny goes, I set myself on fire, Janet. What more do you want to know? My mom was like, wait, what? Who? You did what? And so apparently something similar happened. They did some sort of chemical reaction demonstration. Something got thrown away in a trash can afterwards. And next thing you know, she's managed to turn in such a way that she has caught her lab coat on fire from a fire started in the trash can. She turned, and her students, just like in our class, are going, sister, 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 sister. So one of the students finally like got up and gestured at her. My aunt turned and realized she was on fire. So she had to take off her lab coat, and thankfully that was part of the fire would be put out by water. So she was able to just throw it in the sink and turn it on. Everything was fine. And they extinguished the fire in the trash can and everybody was fine. But why do nuns manage to set themselves on fire so often is the question I can answer to. It's such a goofy thing. Why does it happen? But it does happen. Who knows? All right, so I was going to add in a little bonus story here for you guys today, but I feel like this is kind of long enough already, and my foster cat is being very squeaky and goofy, so I am going to deal with him, and hopefully I will be able to record something again for you guys later. My basic format for these videos is going to be pretty much what you saw today. I plan on doing things that are fairly low maintenance in terms of editing, just because I don't have a lot of software for it, nor do I have a lot of patience for it. I'm ADHD. I admit it. I like the filming. I don't like the editing. So we're going to go fairly stream of consciousness on these things. If you like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe, follow, whatever. Feel free to follow my Instagram. I don't currently do any other social media really, but I will have my Instagram link below. And it was really nice talking to everybody. If there's anything you want to see me throw out some videos on or pictures of or whatever, let me know. Once again, there are links to my Etsy shop is below also. So if you look at that and you're like, wow, I really like this pair of earrings. Can you do a demo or something? I might be able to make that work. Just let me know, what all it is you're interested in. And you guys have a great day. I loved talking to you. Hopefully I'll be back talking to you soon. Have a good one.